Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I have got a haul for you of what I purchased last Saturday. There was a church rummage sale that we saw an advertisement for, and you just never know what you might find in one of those. And it was a Catholic church, not that that makes a difference, but I feel like, I don't know, I grew up non-denominational Christian and we didn't have rummage sales. So I don't know if that's a denominational thing or just a smart person thing. I don't know. But we went to one of those. I'm going to tell you everywhere we went and then I'll show you the stuff I got. We went to that. I got up at like 5 or something to shower because this thing started at 7 and we live an hour away from where it was. And so we wanted to get there early, of course, and we got there and they had a whole, I don't know if it was their gym, but they had an area like, oh, shoot, I did forget one of the items. Well, I'll show it in my next video. The most expensive thing I got there, but they had like a gym with all these tables set up, and you guys, there were tables with mounds of clothes. So if I'm not a clothing, I don't ever look for clothing at any thrift places I go to, but there was a ton of clothing. But I pretty much look at books and crafts and storage, that kind of stuff. So, oh yeah, and there was a storage thing I got at this place. Well, geez, I'm gonna have several things, I guess, to show you in the next video, which hopefully I'm gonna film tonight too. But anyway, so we did that rummage sale, and then we were going to go to Barnes & Noble because I was thinking that the new Daphne's Diary magazine had come out already. Well, I know it's come out already, but I hadn't seen it yet at Barnes & Noble. So we went there, but we got there early before they opened, and on our way there, we saw a sign for another church rummage sale. So instead of waiting and just sitting in the car wasting time at Barnes & Noble, we went over to the other rummage sale, bought some things, came back over to Barnes & Noble. I didn't find what I was looking for, but I found something else. And then we were going to go to Half Price Books because I had a coupon. Well, no, I had a gift card. And it was kind of on the way home, but then when I realized where we were, because we were kind of in an area of town that we don't frequently find ourselves in, it was kind of more South County. And then I was like, oh, we're going to go right past Get Your Picks on Route 66 Antique Mall. So we stopped there before we hit the Half Price Books. So these are apparently not everything that I got, since I forgot to bring in a couple key things. But before that, this came in the mail today from eBay. So I want to open it with you on camera. And let's see. It is literally completely taped everywhere. So where am I going to slice? I'm going to slice here, I guess. Not slice into my clothing, preferably. Okay, let's see if I got enough that I can kind of rip. Oh, no. Like, it's wrapped like a present and then completely taped. Oh, and it's a FedEx, or it's a UPS box on the inside. Interesting. I wonder if they completely wrapped it like this so that they could use a UPS box and not get in trouble for not, like, maybe it's a flat rate box and they just used it as a box. It's a priority mail box. Well, that's one way to get free boxes, I guess. All right. I don't even know. This is going to be really hard to get open, you guys. So while I'm opening this, I told you I would give you an update on my mom. If if you're new here, my mom has Alzheimer's, but she's aging at home with my dad. So this past Saturday, we go over there on, Jason and I go over there on Saturdays while my dad goes to church. And it's, okay, so we're at the point in the disease where she hasn't just forgotten, no wait, let me take this back. She hasn't just decided that I never visit her daughter never visits anymore, or she never sees her daughter anymore. She's to the point where she never had a daughter. Like she's never given birth, she's never had a kid. And so it's been a while where she just thought I was the neighbor lady because I live 2 doors away from her. But I think she still knew she had a daughter. I just wasn't her. Well, now she's never had a daughter. And I'm finding that a little bit hard to deal with, because now it just feels like I am engaging with a body snatcher. And so that familial bond that mothers and daughters have, I'm losing it, because she obviously has lost it because she doesn't know I exist. And that is making it, I don't know why, it shouldn't be changing me, because I'm still seeing my mom, but I'm not seeing my mom. Like, I'm seeing this other woman in my mom's body, which is why I'm calling it Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And so Saturday, when we were over there, I don't know what it is, but she repeats stories, and how her short-term memory is Swiss cheese. And obviously she's forgotten significant, complete pieces of her history. But yet there are some things, fake things, that she remembers from day to day. And one of the current fake things is, well, it's not fake, but she sees a man in a window in the house across the street. This man never moves from the window. He is always standing and looking out the window, which would be scary, you know, if now this is where I also say it's like she's just in constant dreamland, because it really is like she's, I mean, the things she describes they would only be possible in dreams. But so there's this guy, and it's not the guy that lives there. There is an older gentleman that lives there with his wife and her children, kids. But he's probably her age, actually. But it's not him. He's not the one standing in the window. There's this other nefarious man that's standing in the window. He's got a line going down his face. Now, my thought is that this line is really the metal between the 2 panes of glass in the window. But just like you can look in the clouds and think you see an elephant, she's looking at this window in this house and is seeing a man that isn't there, but she's determined that he is there, and he's an evil man. The other people that live in the house are very nice, but this particular person is an evil person. And she says it makes her feel yucky when she looks at him, and she just wishes he would go away. And so, you know, we try things like, well, maybe don't look over there, okay, is really what I want to say. But it doesn't matter. And she, even if she leaves and goes, sits down for a minute, then she gets up the next minute because she's forgotten that she was just there, and you go through it all over again. Well, Saturday, I guess I just had my limit. I wasn't really feeling the mother-daughter thing. I wasn't feeling compassion. I don't even live with her to have to be, my dad's a saint is all I can say. But, and even as I'm saying this, it sounds so horrible to be talking about my mom this way. I love my mom, okay, so don't get me wrong. But the disease is cruel, and it steals your family member from you. And so, yeah, so she like on the 7th or 8th time she's telling us this story, I finally said, stop looking out the window. If it makes you scared or feel bad, stop looking out the window. Now, people with Alzheimer's and her condition, logic does not exist. And unlike with a child that can eventually learn and respond, you don't get that with at least her version of Alzheimer's. So I was not very talkative the whole time we were there. Jason was doing a really good job of engaging with her and talking to her, but I was like, And so, yeah, so I got to the point where I'm like, then sit down. You do not have to look out the window. Sit down and don't think about it. And she just can't. Okay, she can't. And it's not her fault. It's the disease's fault. And so, yeah, so I was feeling like, obviously, like the horrible daughter that I am. And I don't know, I was just at my breaking point for that one moment. But overall, it made me feel terrible because she is my mom. She does have an illness. She cannot help it. And then here's me being a jerk. So yeah, so it's a real struggle. It's a real struggle. Thank you for your purchase. Our goal is to earn your 5-star. Okay, so they're wanting feedback. Wow, well, we are really wrapped in saran wrap, aren't we? So yeah, so I felt terrible. Now, no clue that I was speaking out of frustration to her. I mean, that kind of stuff doesn't register. So I guess there is some forgiveness in that. But yeah, I don't know. I was just like, and it's one of those things where I don't know what the solution is for a family member that is, I don't know. I don't know if you can call it hallucinations or if it's just, I don't know. It's like a dream. I mean, the things that she sees, because like the next door neighbors on the other side of her, they had some twigs in their yard that fell down during one of the tornadoes that came through. And she was positive they were 2 cats. And there was no convincing her that they weren't real cats. So obviously the brain is broken. But then it's like, well, what do you do? Because, you know, it does get tiring listening to the same stories over and over again. And how is it that she can remember these stories when she can't remember her life? So, it's so frustrating. And I didn't handle it well. And, you know, I pray that God takes away some of these fake memories that she has or replaces them. Like one time, the answer to the prayer was that she had a memory that she dealt with whatever it was that she was upset about. Or sometimes she really wants to go back to Indiana to visit her parents. And so she's determined that they're going to go visit her parents. And then my dad's always like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, just get in the car and go somewhere. She's going to forget in 2 seconds. You see my attitude here? But anyway, the one, you know, in one case, she decided that they had already visited. And so she had a memory of them having already visited. So it's like sometimes these fake memories take care of themselves, but this nefarious man in the window has been going on now for like 3 or 4 weeks, and so I don't know how or when it's going to end, if it'll end, and I don't know what to pray for. I don't know whether to pray for it to be replaced with a good memory or it to just be lost to time like all of her real memories. You know, I don't know what to... obviously, I need to pray for more patience for myself and compassion, empathy. And it's, you know, a little scary too, because at some point, these beliefs that she has, or memory, or, you know, her reality is going to make it so that perhaps she's no longer safe living in a home that's not locked down, or, you know, something. She's not like wandered off or anything, but there probably could be a point in time where she might. Or what if she decided that she needed to go talk to this man in the window that doesn't exist? You know, I mean, who knows? So it's a little scary from that, and sad, just because it's further evidence of progression from the disease. Holy cow. Well, I need to save this saran wrap to wrap things I sell. Like, do people that have this have just a really big, long roll of it, or are they buying this at Walmart? Okay, now this was a very delicate old scrapbook from what I understand. Okay, so I don't know if the pages are chippy. I mean, it's like stained here, but it does say scrapbook. And inside, it says, my scrapbook of greeting cards and poetry. Alice Chupless, Ashland, Pennsylvania, 1947. Cards received while a patient in the hospital in 1946, Ashland State Hospital, November 12th through 22nd of 46, and Locust Mountain Hospital, November 25th through December 4th. So I guess she was, so she had little tabs. So we've got the Get Well cards, and it's just cards. So I got this thinking I could take them out of here and use them in journals. People like getting, I know I'm showing them upside down. Well, here, I just don't know how delicate this is, because you can see all these pages up here. Actually, a lot of these pages, it doesn't look like they're in the ring binder anymore. So maybe I can just hold a few up. So they're, of course, written in, but they're just good kind of mid-century cards. So we have the Get Well. Aww. And what other sections do we have? Birthday. I can never find things like this in antique stores, probably because the second they hit, somebody picks them up. But so yeah, I can't remember what I paid for this, but it supposedly has 73 different cards. And then we've got Christmas. Oh, some of this is still connected. Valentine's Day. Oh no, that's still Christmas. Well, that looks like Valentine's Day. And then miscellaneous, thinking of you kind of things, and then just empty pages. So I can, of course, use the empty pages, although they look kind of chippy, meaning they would crack probably as opposed to fold. So yeah, so I'll look up real quick and see what I paid for this. But yeah, I get kind of, this is terrible, but I get kind of jealous when I watch some of the channels that show the junk journals they make and what they fill them with before they sell them. And I'm like, I wish I could find some stuff like that. See, this is the problem with money. You're always envious of something more. It's also the problem with fame. Jason and I were talking about people that Like there's news that speculation that anytime speculation comes out about someone in the Christian world, we're always like, how does this happen? How do they sing all these Christian songs at all their concerts and then live a completely different life? Like, how does that happen? And Jason's like, well, fame corrupts, power corrupts. And, you know, if you're famous, people are throwing themselves at you, and it would be really hard to turn that down every single day. I mean, in reality, Billy Graham is probably one of the only people that and he surrounded himself with people, witnesses, to make sure that nobody could say anything and that nothing would happen. And people just don't have that level anymore. But then, you know, he's saying this and I'm like, well, crap, you know, all this stuff that I've brought into our family's life with this YouTube channel, even, you know, trying to keep up with the Joneses and have all this cool stuff to haul. And obviously there gets to be a point where you can't afford it anymore. And I've hit that point and I'm still buying stuff because that is the way, that is the evil of money. So don't we all feel good now? This is a really depressing show so far. My apologies. I really am excited about these things. Okay, I paid $28.47 for that scrapbook. 1940s, 1950s, 72 set greeting cards. Okay, so now on to the things that I got. Oh, I should put this back in the box though, shouldn't I? So it doesn't get damaged until I get it. I'm really literally going to just take the cards out of it so that they can be used elsewhere. Now, ultimately, I would have preferred baby announcements. If I'm being frank, I think baby announcements are probably the coolest kind of vintage card to get. But yeah, I really like all of it. Just that would be probably my favorite. Okay, this is not going to be in any particular order. So this was from the antique store. I am going to be learning how to, I guess, decoupage with napkins onto vintage paper. So I've been picking up botanical napkins from the Dollar Tree, and this was $3 for, well, I don't know how many are in here. Hopefully at least 10. But I've watched videos. You get your Mod Podge, you get your brush, you put some on the music paper or whatever, you put this down. I don't think you have to do it on the top of this because I think that would tear the napkin. I think it's just between the paper and the napkin. You put the Mod Podge and then you let it dry. So I'm going to be attempting to do that because I think that would be nice in my, I am literally working on a journal to sell. So then I found this was also at the antique store. It's just 3 embroidered ribbons, really. I really got it for this one, although I do like this one. But I just thought these, I don't know, I just wanted to have some of these that I could maybe line a page on the edge with. And then I found this metal file or index card holder, $5.95. What do they call it? Vintage shredded wheat box. Well, yes, okay. And then inside, it came with some recipes, but it also came with, it only had a few recipes. But then it came with all these recipe cards from the kitchen of Pat Murphy. And I thought that was fantastic. I probably would have paid $5 just for this. But the fact that I have a metal container now that's in really good shape, and it's copyrighted 1973. So I felt like that was a good deal. So I've been trying to keep my eyes open for storage options that kind of fit my brand, my vintage brand, I guess you could say. I do have the link to my Etsy shop in the description below. So I resell, well, I'm trying to put together packs of things to sell. So, but I do have a lot of things on my shop, in my shop now, in case you're in that world for crafting. All right, then when we were at Barnes & Noble and I couldn't find the Daphne's Diary, I did find the brand new Flow book. It's Flow book for paper lovers. This one, I believe, comes out twice a year. And I believe in the States, it's only available at Barnes & Noble. That may be wrong, but that's the only place I've ever heard people talking about it. So there's probably a way you could subscribe to this maybe and get it sent to your home, which would probably be preferable, because these, okay, there were 3, and they don't come in plastic like they should. Like there's cross-stitching magazines and stuff that they come encased in plastic because they've got pieces. This has pieces too, and so it's a mess, kind of. Well, I was looking through the 3, and there was part of one just sitting there on the shelf. So I added it into this because it looked like it was missing from this one. And then I thought, well, what else is missing? And I don't know, because nobody on TikTok has done a flip through, like a page by page flip through of this yet. And I'm not going to be the first one. Well, somebody may have done it by now, but when I was watching Sunday, nobody had done one yet. There was like a quick flip through. But anyway, so I don't know if I'm missing parts because, for example, this was loose. So I'm not sure which, like there's something is supposed to be here, but I don't know if it's this. And, but it's full of, like, this is a punch out, and there's like wrapping paper right here. There's just regular kind of, well, this is like a calendar section. But yeah, so this was also not connected, but I think it does belong here. So this was the part that a couple of these cards were just loose on the shelf, and I noticed that this one was, compared to the other ones, this one was missing some, so I did put it in here. But like this is loose, and this is the journal. So I don't know if I got everything, and it is $33.99. So I hope I got everything. But yeah, I missed out because it only comes out twice a year. I missed out on the one that came out in November, I think. But yeah, I was not expecting this until August, because we thought that the Barnes & Noble person told us it wouldn't come out till August, but it was already there. So I picked that up. I've gotten some, they have smaller versions of these that are thematic. So this is the first general one that I got. And you guys, how many of you, when I said I was gonna start a new channel for crafting, how many of you were like, she'll never stick with it? And I think I'm to the point where I'm not sticking with it again, because it once again is too much, and I need to do all of my videos on this channel because this channel pays. And the time it would take me to get a new channel to payment eligibility would be forever. So, all right. So next, I've got stuff that I got from Half Price Books. I did, in order to use my gift card, it was one of those gift cards that if you spend $25, you get a $5 gift card. It was for like Mother's Day, I think, promotion or something. And I wish that I would have done it more because I spent more money during that time where I should have bought the gift cards first to get the extra gift cards. But anyway, to use the extra gift card, you had to spend $25, and it was a $5 gift card. So I got, I like looking for these golden guidebooks. I have since worked with Ledger, that's what I've named my ChatGPT, Ledger, because I'm an accountant, but I also love Ledger paper for my junk journal world. So yes, ChatGPT is now called Ledger. And so I actually worked with Ledger today to get myself a checklist. This is actually not one of the series that I want to collect, but this next one is, so I'll show you that. But so Ledger's going to keep a checklist for me, and as I find them, he's going to check them off for me. But anyway, so I got this, and bird pages. I like birds and flowers and butterflies, things that fly and things that bloom. So birds and blooms and bees, I don't know. Then I got this one, and I do want to collect the Peterson field guides, but I technically don't want to collect this generation of them, but I couldn't pass it up, although I don't know that it's necessarily a good price at $8.99. But again, it has a lot more, obviously black and white, but it does have a colored section. Are they all throughout the book? Okay, yeah, you kind of can see where these colors are, is where they've got colored sections. So my goal is for the series of these that I do want to collect, I'm going to collect them, and then if I get a second one, I'm going to be like Seven Plaza, because she knows, she's got her stuff together, and I'm going to, once I get a second copy, then I can break that down for use in crafting and sales. Now this one, I will probably never ever find a second copy of it unless I go looking for it on eBay, but you guys, this one is fantastic. I didn't even know it existed. It is $21, okay, and it's Muriel Foster's Fishing Diary. This one is reminiscent of, Edith Holden. Well, it's in that it's got all of her diaries, so it's got all of the dates, and you know, she's got columns, and then she did her own artwork all throughout. Every page, well, mostly every page is got this kind of stuff. So it starts out, it had a little flyer to tell you about the diary, and this was copyright 1980. Oh, see, even this is pretty. But it's just, okay, it starts out in 1913 is the oldest date in here. And then, I mean, it's like, where did she catch it? What? I don't know what's supposed to go in water. But she's got a column for water, a column for rods, a column for fly, and then whether she caught a salmon, a grilse, how do you pronounce that? Grilse, trout, sea trout, or various. And if it was various, she listed exactly what she caught. And then she's got a column for weight, pounds and ounces, but it doesn't look like she used that. Oh, she did on some of them. Okay, so we started out in 1913. And the last entry is 1949. And then she's got like a tally in the back of each year and how many she caught of each one. And yeah, so I would absolutely love to tear apart one of these, but I can't tear apart this one because I do want to keep this one forever. But if I ever find another one, or if I for some reason get bored and go look on eBay and find another one, yeah, I would pick it up in a heartbeat. All right, now this is a series that I'm gonna collect, but this is a super new one, which is not that great, but it was only $3.49. So insects, but insects includes butterflies, so we love that. And okay, this was fun. This is a Celtic alphabet. And so it's got the Celtic one over here, and then of course the calligraphy one over here. Now, of course, if I do tear up this one, the P is not going to go with the P because somebody would just get, you know, the one page. They wouldn't have it matching. And then it's got poetry maybe in the back, a couple pages of poetry. But it's the Celtic letter book. This was on an end cap. Otherwise, I would have never found something like this. It looks like it originally cost €7.99. But it's not very old because somebody originally bought it in on the 15th day of June in 1923. That's what that receipt says. So, but I like that. And then I always look at this particular Half Price Books has all the little golden books in their collectible section, but they really aren't priced badly. All of these were $3. I got what I think is the oldest one that I've ever had, which is this one, Susie's New Stove. Look at the back. So this is a super, well, I've never had one with a back like this. So I'm just deciding that's because it's the oldest I've ever had. But it is copyrighted 1950. So I don't know, I might have had some from the 40s. I just don't know why the back is different. So, because it does say a little golden book, and this part is different. But yeah, so Susie's New Stove, it was $3, and it's still in really good shape. And then I picked this one up just because it's kittens, and it's an older one too. It's got an older back. Well, let's just see, how old is it? Copyright 1951, and it had some really cute images, also for $3. But this one, the cover, it's like been bent a little bit. Then I found 2 of these. Now, I picked up both of them, but one of them is more cool than the other one. This one. So it's fun with decals. You guys, this one still has the decals. Look at that. Now, I think I've actually picked up some decals like this at an antique store, and now I'm wondering if it went with a book. But this one is copyrighted 1952, and it's got, where did I find that? Okay, it's like telling the kid what they can do with the decal on here, but it's like, make sure you get with your mom first, but you can put them on furniture. So yeah, so this one had the decals. This one did not, but it was old enough that I still thought it was cute enough to buy. And both of those were $3. So that was my haul from Half Price Books. So I think the rest of the stuff will either be antique store or Rummage. All right, so I got several sets of cards. Now this bag was a bag of cards for $1, but I did add some of the other cards that I got in, so it wasn't all of these for $1. But okay, so these that I'm pulling out first were not part of that, but I think I got all of these for $1. It was supposed to be 10 for $2, and so the person that was kind of monitoring that section told me to put rubber bands around them, so I put them in packs of 10, but it was a different lady that was checking me out, and she just put all the cards together as one and charged me $1 for all those cards. Now, I got some of these cool flower cards that I got from the Goodwill, maybe if you remember, and I'll just show you a couple of the cool ones. Like there was this really cool cardinal one that had this little card inside that, well, it's probably supposed to be taped in here, but I just liked the kind of the cover to that. And there were some like little cards that I liked. I picked out bird and flower ones pretty much where I could. So that was that pack for, well, one of the packs that was part of the $1. Then this one had more vintagey cards in it. I literally, there was like 3 Tupperware kind of containers that had these cards. I literally flipped through every one because there really wasn't a lot of other stuff I was seeing. Oh, you can't see that, but it's embossed. Roses mean remembrance. This is a great little vintagey kind of card, and it's Hallmark. A lot of times you can kind of look at a card and tell if it's that old vintage Hallmark look. This really looks like a calling card, like a turn of the century calling card. So anyway, there's little cards, and then there were some these, you know, kind of vintagey. And then I found a couple. So if you're not from the St. Louis area, you won't recognize this name, but John Pills does a lot of these St. Louis. He has a whole series of St. Louis related drawings, and so I got these 2 cards, which are frameable really, and I will probably never use or get rid of because his stuff is expensive if you go to one of his, you know, place that actually sells his cards. So I was happy to find those. That was another set of 10. This next set is probably my favorite though. And I've learned new things. So there was a couple of these. These are so obviously vintage Hallmark cards. So a couple of these, and this is a Halloween card. And while some of you are happy that Halloween's coming up, I'm like, we just had Halloween yesterday. Why is it here again already? But my favorite find out of this were these postalettes, is what they're called. That's what I learned when I was looking these up on eBay. So you would put your stamp. So it's like between a postcard and a letter, but it's jewelry boxes. So the whole set of 8 was there, and I still have, they used 3 stickers, but there's still 9 stickers left. So that was a great find, probably my favorite find in the card section. And don't worry, I'm not going to show you every single card. I didn't pick this out, so I wonder if they just stuck it in the bag, or maybe it was, okay, well maybe this was in the bag that I bought and I just didn't realize it. Because I did not that I, well, no, I mean, I'm fine with this, but Catholics are usually the ones that have Jesus on the cross. What is that called? The crucifix? No. Is it? I don't remember. Non-denominational, I grew up non-denominational Christian, and we just have an empty cross. I don't know if that's because we focus more on the resurrection, or I don't know what the deal is with that. But anyway, so a lot of these times when you find a pack of cards, you end up getting all of these like St. Jude little packs of paper that that people have gotten because they donated. So there was a whole bunch of those. And just more cards that they got from some kind of charity. This one was weird. So this one was like, it had, are these attorneys? Business services. So it had a few pages. It's like somebody made their own little notebook, because I don't know what that's supposed to be, but there's several pages of that. And then there were blank pages. So I feel like this is a homemade notepad. And is there anything else of note in here? There were some like super, what I would think would be expensive cards. But maybe these were also charity, received as part of a charity. But yeah, it was still a ton of that. So all of these were the cards for the whole bag for $1. Plus that. So yeah, so all of these cards and things really for $2. And then I think this is the last one that I've got. I guess we also went to another antique store that same day, because they have books there, and there were a couple books I was looking for, but it appears that I didn't bring those in either. But one of this next thing is from that place. But anyway, I found a set of Funny Bones cards at the antique store. I've been looking for these. Hyper Stamper, I watch her. She has really short videos, which is probably why it makes it easy for me to watch them. So why don't I learn from that and make short videos? I don't know. But she, on occasion, puts these Funny Bones cards in her journals that she sells. But it's like the game, if you were playing the game, you have to, it's almost like dominoes, where you have to have a card that has a hip bone on it to connect it. And your goal is to connect from your head down to your feet in some way, shape, or form, and get the most points, because the cards have different point values. So anyway, it's a set of 23 cards, and I think it was $10, so not cheap. And they're from, I believe they're from 1960. Yeah, they're from 1968, Parker Brothers. Oh, let's put this back in. And then, okay, this was full, but I've already made some packs to sell on my channel, but they're not listed on my channel yet because I'm going to do a separate video of all the new things I'm putting in my shop. But anyway, these are, well, they would have been wedding envelopes. There's a whole box, and the price isn't on there anymore. I don't remember what I paid for this, but it was like this. So I thought I was getting everything for this, but this and this were apparently separate item numbers, and this box didn't include those, so you only get this one card with that. And they had another set of these, but it had a rose, and I liked this one better. So I ended up picking it out because I just liked the botanical image of it. So it's obviously it's got the holes for where the ribbon would go, and you could still use your own ribbon. But I just really liked this. I thought this would be great in a journal. But it also came with, well, it came with instructions of how to print. But it's got what I'm guessing would be the RSVP cards, the RSVP envelopes, and then the regular envelopes. So these will be, like I said, will be appearing in the shop in kits for anybody that wants to share the love. But it's weird because this was in the book section, and it was almost like they were using it as a bookend. I mean, like, really, you couldn't find this unless you were looking for it, and I just happened to look down in this corner, and these are bookshelves that have been put together with cinder blocks and wood, so it was really kind of out of the way, but I picked it up anyway. And then I found a meal born in the antique store for $10. We had this growing up. I think I've talked about that on here before, but I bought it for the cards. And although it did come with some score sheets, which is kind of cool. And I don't know, if you've never played this, you're basically trying to get so many miles down the road, so you have these mileage cards that you're trying to play, but people can play on you, so like they can play a stop card on you, and so you can't go again until you get a roll card to cover your stop. There's flat tires that you have to get a spare tire, but what I loved about this is it's a French game, so it's got the French in here, but and then it's got the English up here. So like one of them is a couvre, which I think might be the flat tire. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find it now, or it's in the other pile of cards. But yeah, so I got this for the cards because I'm really interested in like game pieces. So I'm trying to collect enough different game pieces that I can put sets together, ephemera sets. And then another bag of cards for $1. I don't think there was, actually this one's stationery, so that's kind of different. So $1 for all the stationery is actually pretty good, I think. And this was from the, yeah, stationery and matching envelopes. This was from the rummage sale because it's got a green sticker on it, and they gave us these little cards to tell us what the prices were. So it's got this stationery, this one which appears to just be blue, but somebody cut edges of some of the paper, and then there's this set. So I thought that was a pretty good deal for $1. And I think we quickly just showed the last thing. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to film the third episode tonight like I was hoping, but whenever I film it, I'm going to try to show you the things I forgot to bring in here from the rummage sale, because one of them was super exciting, I thought. So that was my Saturday haul for the most part. Let's do a little nostalgic TV trivia before we go on our way. Who portrayed Detective Tony Beretta on Beretta? What role did McLean Stevenson play on MASH? Who played Jim Newton on Fury? What town is the setting for As the World Turns? On what quiz show did the contestant have to come up with the question? Who was the host of the early 1950s religious program, Hour of Decision? Who portrayed Slim on The Outlaws? Who played Ed Norton on The Honeymooners? You guys, this is a hard card too. Who portrayed Detective Tony Beretta on Beretta? I can see the guy's face, but I do not know. Frank. I mean, they're wanting the whole name, but I'm just going to say Frank. What role did McLean Stevenson play on MASH? He was a colonel, right? He was replaced by Harry Morgan because he wanted off the show. Spoiler alert, if you've not watched this show, he died in a plane crash on his way home from on the show. What did he muster out? Had he served enough time? Like, I don't remember how it was he got to go home, but he died on the way home, which was super sad and probably one of the highest rated episodes of the show. But what was his name? I can remember. I was gonna say I could remember Harry Morgan's role, but now I can't remember that one. Darn it. Well, maybe if it comes to me. Colonel. Now all I'm thinking is Colonel Klink, which is the wrong show. Okay. Oh, that's gonna bug me. Who played Jim Newton on Fury? I have no idea. Frank. What town is the setting for As the World Turns? Well, I'm pretty sure we've had a question similar to this, but I didn't watch that show, and it's probably something like Pinedale or something, but I'm going to say Springfield because I always say Springfield. On what quiz show did the contestant have to come up with the question? Well, I'm going to say Jeopardy because you have to put your answer in the form of a question, but I don't know that that's what they mean here, but I'm going to say Jeopardy. Who was the host of the early 50s religious program, Hour of Decision? I can't even, all I can think of is Pat Robertson because he did the 700 Club. I can't think of any, well, shoot. Are we talking a televangelist? Because there were several of those, like Jim Baker and stuff, but I don't know that they were around in the 50s. And Pat Robertson just died. So I think he is too young to have been in the 50s. So I don't know. I don't know. I think Billy Graham was around back then, but I don't believe he did TV programs. So I don't know. Who portrayed? We'll say Frank is the host. What if Frank is the answer to one of these? Wouldn't that be hilarious? Who portrayed Slim on The Outlaws? Frank. Who played Ed Norton on The Honeymooners? Now, darn it, Ed Norton wasn't Jackie Gleason, right? Because that was Ralph. Oh, shoot. Ralph Cramden, Ed Norton. Ed Norton was the neighbor, the friend, right? Ed Norton. But I can't think of what his name is, and I think we've had this question before too. Or it was like we had the guy's name and which character did he play? Oh man, I'm not going to get any of these right, you guys. Who portrayed Detective Tony Beretta on Beretta? Robert Blake. Oh, yes. Okay, so I could see his face. Why couldn't I come up with a name? The guy who murdered his wife, right? I mean, he was convicted of that, wasn't he? Okay. Oh, well, the next answer is also Blake. What role did McLean Stevenson play on MASH? It was Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake. See, when I hear it, it's like, yes, duh. Who played Jim Newton on Fury? Peter Graves. We just looked him up when we were trying to figure out who his brother was, which was Jim Arness. What town is the setting for As the World Turns? Oakdale. I said Pinedale. You guys, I was so close. I did say Pinedale, right? Not Pine Ridge. I think I said, oh well, whatever. I was close. I should get a half a point. No, because I changed my name to, or the answer to Springfield. Never mind. On what quiz show did the contestant have to come up with the questions? It is Jeopardy, so I get one answer. Okay. Who was the host of the early 50s religious program, Hour of Decision? It was Billy Graham. Can I get a point for that, you guys? I'm going to take a half a point. It was Billy Graham. Okay, now I know he did the television crusades, you know, or that were televised, but wow. Okay, well, color me surprised. Who portrayed Slim on The Outlaws? Please be frank. Slim Pickens? What? So the guy that played Slim was actually named Slim? Who played Ed Norton on The Honeymooners? Art Carney, yes. Okay, well, I got 1.5 points because I'm stealing a half a point for Billy Graham. So I got Jeopardy. All right, well, this brown side of the card is harder, I think, than the blue side. All right, let me go. I want to say thank you to my members. And while I'm looking them up, I want to thank all of you for sharing your time with me. That is so kind and sweet of you. And for listening to me talk about my family drama. I don't know. I don't think you'd call it family drama, right? It's just me being immature with my mom's condition. But unfortunately, it's a very real thing. And I stayed home from work yesterday because, not just because of that, but because I've been going nonstop for like 2 weeks. Ooh, some people go nonstop always. I don't know, you guys, I grew up as an only child, and here I'm whining, aren't I? But I go a little crazy if I don't get some downtime to myself. So yeah, I had a sick day yesterday because I needed a mental health day. All right, so thank you to my members, Julie, KT, Favorites with Laura, Darlene, and we're still praying for Favorites with Laura's husband. You can check out her channel where she talks about that. Darlene, hey everybody, and Pam, thank you so much for being a member and supporting my channel in that way, and thank you to all of you for watching and supporting that way as well. And I don't know, what time is it? It's 9:21. I probably have to stop, you guys. The movie probably isn't going to go that much longer. So I guess, when's the next time I have to shower? Thursday. So maybe Thursday I'll film another video. That's terrible, isn't it? But anyway, wherever you are, whenever you are, I hope you're having a great day. And until we meet again, take care of yourself. Bye.